While Uganda's fertility rate stands at over 5 children per woman, there is still 10 to 15% of couples in Uganda who struggle with the issue of infertility. Hello friends, this is Stella Sanobokelo, welcoming you to the Family Enrichment Hub, your center for family learning and for growth. Thank you for those of you who have continuously supported this channel. I truly appreciate your great support. Today I want to be speaking about another storm in marriage that could potentially destroy our relationships if not properly addressed, and that is childlessness that comes from infertility or barrenness. I'm going to be focusing on the couples who decide to start a family, and along the journey of their relationship, they discover that they actually are suffering with problems of infertility or barrenness. I'll not be concentrating on the ones who deliberately decide not to have children within their relationship. And I'm going to be sharing some experiences of couples that have actually gone through the storm of infertility within their relationship. I listened to one lady called Jessie Ebwanyu sharing her experience. She has been married for 5 years and she has not been able to conceive a child in these 5 years of her relationship. And these are some of the things that she has to share with us. She says that there is always societal rejection and lashing at women who do not conceive. And she talks about there is a likelihood of losing your identity and even losing your marriage because of failure to have a child. But this is what she has to say. She says, you are a person beyond that child that you are looking for. And it's okay not to have a child. But if you have children, truly celebrate them. She also says that what works for one couple in their journey of trying to conceive and bear fruit may not work for another couple. So just because a solution worked for one couple does not mean that it can be copied and pasted to another struggling couple. She also says that it's not always the woman who has a problem. In fact, Dr. Sally tells us that issues of infertility within our society usually indicate that 50% of infertility cases arise from the woman, while 30% arise from the man, and the other 20% comes from both the man and the woman when they have decided to come together. So it is not true that all cases of infertility actually the woman's problem. And Jessie also says, have peace within yourself, even when you are struggling to conceive and have a child. She also encourages couples who are going through the same experience to go for medical checkup so that you can be able to actually deal with a problem that you understand with facts. She also says adoption is a viable option for couples who are comfortable with it. It's another way for you to actually find fulfillment in knowing that you actually have children. She also says it's important for people to pour their energies to other important life activities. Do not overpay attention to this one issue of wanting to have a child, and you forget to pay attention to other meaningful aspects of your life. And so she encourages people to be kind to couples who are struggling with the issue of conceiving. For she says, there is a time for everything, and there is also a time for you to carry a child. Those are the insights from Jessie Ebwanyu. I also had the privilege to listen to another couple, that is Jonathan and Michelle Kazungu, who have been married for the last 11 years and they've not been able to conceive a child. And this is what they have to say. They say that everyone somehow is always willing to offer medical solutions to help people who are struggling with the issue of conceiving. And they say they went for their medical examinations and the doctors confirm that indeed they are medically okay and fit enough to be able to conceive a child. They say they have suffered a lot of societal pressure, and lashing and blaming again is especially on the woman. And Michelle says, because of the many challenges that they have experienced, the trolling and the dissing from the people within and outside of their network, she felt a sense of pressure within her. She felt a sense of loneliness. She feels a sense of isolation, especially when she goes to attend her friends' baby showers. She feels like she's being rejected. She notices the mean looks that people are always throwing at her. And this is what she has to say. She says, children are a gift from God. And she says, because of these uncomfortable remarks and comments that people have made, she said, together with her husband, Jonathan, they reached a point where they just decided to relax about it and said, let's live our lives. If a baby comes, good. If the baby does not come, it is still okay. We shall still enjoy our lives and utilize the beauty of being just the two of us. And she also says that as you prepare, as you expect the time to come ahead when you will receive your child, know that the time hasn't yet come in case you have not yet received a baby. And she, together with her husband, encourage themselves. They are a very prayerful couple. They pray when they reach those low moments. And the man says he does not discuss their challenges with other people. He only discusses his challenges with his wife and the medical team that is handling them. And they also say it's okay not to have kids. They further say a miracle delayed is not a miracle denied. And so the encouragement they give other couples who are going through a similar experience is be strong for yourself. No one can do that for you. Stand up for yourself. Find your strength inside of you. And they also say you are good enough as a person. Having kids is not your effort. God is never late. Those are the insights from Jonathan and Michelle Kazungu. I also had the privilege to listen in to Roslyn and Ogenge, a couple, elderly couple that have been married for 33 years. And in the first 28 years of their marriage, they were actually childless. They did medical tests and discovered that the problem was actually the blocked tubes on the side of Roslyn, the wife. And their doctor told them that was an easy challenge that he could fix. And indeed, when the surgical procedure was done, this couple still waited another 20 years before they could actually get a child. And they say they had a lot of support from the man's mother because they also were able to raise so many other children who were not their own in their house. In fact, many people did not know that they didn't have children of their own. However, they were still difficult relatives who made a living hell out of Rosalind's inability to conceive a child. And because of this pressure, Rosalind also pushed the pressure back to the husband and encouraged him to find a second wife who could be able to give him children. And the husband told her, this is what he had to say, Rosalind, if I do not have a child with you, I won't have any child with anybody. He said he cannot love two, he can only love one. And he said he took this decision because he had seen so many of his friends in Nairobi where he worked who had tried the attempt of having more than one wife and they were miserable, they did not have peace. So he said for him, he wants peace in his home. And so more than one wife is trouble. So when Rosalind noticed the determination of her husband not to find another woman, she said she settled and decided to serve the Lord. And in the process of serving the Lord, that is when Rosalind actually conceived their baby. And today their child is actually 5 years and they are 33 years in marriage. I also want to share the experience of a very dear friend of mine who requested me not to share his identity. He, together with his wife, started out their marriage very happy, unlike any other. They wanted to have so many children. in their family. And in the first years of their marriage, they didn't take it as such a big deal when they were not conceiving, until when the pressure started mounting from outside and from within. He says his wife got very uncomfortable. This issue took a toll on her. She started imagining that the husband was actually going to get children from out. And so this dear friend of mine says that his home became so lonely. Home became a battleground because they were always in disagreement together with his wife over the issue of children. But despite the challenges that they were having, despite this issue that nearly tore their marriage apart, they continued to pray and believe God for children. And indeed, he says all the advice that they received from different people on what they needed to do to help them to have a child, unfortunately did not work until they decided to consider the option of IVF, in vitro fertilization. He says this was a very expensive procedure, and besides being very costly, it was also emotionally draining exercise, because every time he walked into the hospital with his dear wife, he witnessed the pain that she had to endure. But faithfully, they continued going through the exercise and the procedures that needed to be done on them until finally the Lord saw their need. The Lord heard and blessed them with children after 6 years in marriage. And so, friends, those are the stories, those are the testimonies of people who have actually endured in childlessness and infertility within their marriages. And so, basing on those experiences, I want to conclude with this. Kids actually come from God. It is the Lord who blesses us with the fruit of the womb. And so, when you notice you're going through this journey, rest in the Lord, because the time will come, like the Bible says, there's a time for everything when He'll truly bless you with the fruit of the womb. And also use your journey to encourage others, just like you heard from Cisse, from Jesse Ebwanyu, talking about her own experience and using it to be a source of encouragement and comfort to other couples who are going through similar challenges. You're not alone in this journey. You're not the first, neither are you the last. And so keep the faith and keep the hope alive. Having no child is not a death sentence, and it is not the end of the road for you. Finally, find time to pursue other life interests and goals, because like some of these couples have mentioned, life is beyond just marriage and children. There is so much more that the Lord desires us to fulfill and accomplish in our lives besides just the issue of children. Thank you, friends, for listening in. Kindly share this message widely, for I believe this is how we shall truly transform our societies through the family. God bless you. Bye.